Evening, everyone. Steve Poole here. I'm releasing, this is just my first introduction video about what is going to be my first legitimate feature film production, which I've been on Cloud9 for about 3 weeks now. I've gotten just an obnoxious amount of support thrown behind it. Lots of acting talent interested from people who, as someone who is doing a film with practically no budget, I have no business having in my film. But launching in, first little piece of information, I guess I should give a brief outline of it, which I'm not very good at doing brief outlines of anything that I do. I assume doing a feature isn't going to be any easier. But the film is titled Runaway Highway, which is in reference to the film is essentially a road trip film, but a road trip film much different from the various types of film productions you would think of when you think of that concept of a road trip film. But the highway that the lead character is driving down is referred to as Runaway Highway because it's the primary road out of town where the lead character, Belle, lives. And so, for being a highway that goes out of town and goes kind of into rural territory, there's a significant number of people either out there hitchhiking or camping or doing whatever they do between leaving the city and going to wherever else they want to go, with and do what they want with their lives. And essentially that concept of runaway highway is reference to people running away from that particular city, running away from everything that their life is back there. So there's definitely a running theme of the fact that every single person on this planet, me included, have things that they are that they're running away from. The lead character, Belle, as a backstory, came from a very, let's say, status-focused family. Family that was very, very uptight about their presentation, the way they look to the outside world. And Belle has a sister, Brianna, who suffers from a bipolar disorder, and thus, from time to time, would act out in ways that the family deemed uncouth, if you want to use that word. Um, so they had her checked out as a child, and pretty much were like, well, here's some prescription drugs, take them and calm down because we can't have you embarrassing our family like this. So the family kind of disowned Brianna's mental condition, and the only one who picked up and took care of her was Belle's character. Well, the film opens the day before Brianna's funeral after she committed suicide after going off her meds because, like so many people, she hated the way they made her feel. And deep to her core, beyond everything else, Brianna, as is the case with Belle's, very, very free spirit, very focused on what she wants and what she needs, and she's going to do what she wants to get that. So Belle's character on the outset is already estranged from her family for the way they've kind of disowned Brianna and her condition. And the film opens with her essentially stealing her sister's ashes, and then she takes them out on the road to take them to a place that had special significance for her and Brianna when Brianna was still alive, so she can have her own private memorial with her there. And the process of that trip is coming to terms with that decision she made, coming to terms with so many other decisions in her life, as well as coming to terms with the fact that her sister's gone and she's not coming back, coupled with the fact that she spent her whole life taking care of her sister, and now suddenly she's put in a position where she's still young, but she's got to figure out what she's going to do for her life and make a niche for herself. So that is the film about as briefly as I can put it. It's a drama with comedic elements, so to a degree it's a dramedy. And I just, as a filmmaker, my last three pretty significant film projects. One was about a guy dealing with the loss of his fiance in a shooting. The next one was a mix between workers' rights along with domestic violence. And my last film that I did a few months back was about drug addiction. So they were these very kind of social issues focused films, things that required a lot of kind of introspection, background research to make sure I was giving these characters that had these situations surrounding them the proper, making them realistic. And I started writing another script that was very much along those same lines, and I was thinking I've got to get myself out of this kind of overly consistent place that I've gone into. And beyond that, I wanted to do a script that was just a movie, a real movie, something where I could feel uninhibited and feel like I could create characters without having them be forced to be guided by, say, a drug addiction, to where, however you want a character to be, you have to adjust them to make sure that they look like a realistic drug addict. I wanted to do something that was outside of those parameters, where pretty much I didn't really have any parameters when I started. And I kind of started thinking on this idea of somebody going on a road trip alone. And then, why would they be doing that? And that's where the idea of taking your sister's ashes to a special place where you could have your final goodbye, and it's this big life transition that one has to go through. And the stealing of them at the beginning, that was just that once I got that, I was like, this is going to be a really good movie. That's that great hook at the start. You need a great hook, and then everything else carries you to the very end. And there's so much. There's extra characters. There's several people she meets on her way. There's so much symbolism in the film. There's numerous callbacks. The comedy is a very kind of dry, witty type comedy as opposed to being overtly stupid and obnoxious. And I've currently at the point I'm at right now, I've just finished what I'm calling a working script. It's essentially the shooting script. The film's been practically cast, meaning I have just one or two small roles left to fill. And the plan, today is April 24th, and my plan is to begin shooting in mid-May, so we're talking about 3.5 weeks from now. So I'm still in that pre-production phase, so I wanted to produce an introductory video like this, get the ball rolling, get the word out, because again, this is my first feature film. So I'm going into excitedly uncharted territory for myself, but there's been just wonderful level of excitement and enthusiasm being thrown behind this film. My lead actress, who I have playing Belle, she's in the whole entire movie, and the actress I have for her is, willing to do this whole entire film for practically no pay because she's that invested in the character. I mean, that's where this thing is going. And I'm going to continue to be producing little short videos like this, little updates, as we get closer and closer to beginning production, and then as production's going on, and then of course the post-production phase and the ultimate release of it, which will hopefully be late July maybe, if not into August as far as a release date. And I'm already planning to have a grand unveiling of this piece, premiere, if you will. So that's it more or less. Just kind of dipping my feet in the water, letting everybody know that this next project is up and running and going. And I'll see you guys all later.